Plus, they're covered by a contract, so they have a clearly defined path for promotion, so there's not so much favoritism. Workers know if I meet these criteria, these are the steps to get promoted. You have a grievance procedure, so if you feel like you're unjustly disciplined, then you have a procedure where your voice can be heard and where you can have a representative with you. You get all this for union dues that on average about 2% of your salary a month. So most folks, you want to have health insurance because you worry about if you're going to get sick. So I kind of think about union dues as job insurance because it helps ensure fairness on the job and job security.
Is it true that union membership actually increases a woman's salary more than a degree?
I don't know that it increases it more than a degree, but I can tell you the union advantage is even greater for women and for people of color. You know, I said union workers on average earn about 28% more than non-union workers, but if you break that out, for women who belong to a union, it's an even greater advantage, and the same thing for people of color. But I wouldn't.
Statistic on one of the websites, I'm just kind of curious how, if there was actually any.
Yeah, I've never heard
being a fact.
That kind of comparison. So unions clearly benefit the individual member, the worker, but unions have much broader benefits. They benefit the greater economy and the community. I mean, when workers earn a decent wage, I mean, we're all consumers and taxpayers, then we have more money to spend at, you know, our local stores. We pay more taxes, which helps give more revenue to our local governments. And when you look historically, when unionization rates were high, when unions were strong, there was a booming and expanding middle class, the economy worked for everyone, and there was a lot of economic growth. If you look after the 80s, when unions really started their decline, you see much greater income inequality in this country, the middle class getting squeezed, and it really helped set up, I think, the perfect storm for this economic crisis, because when workers' wages didn't keep pace with inflation, then they started relying more on credit. And then we had a lack of regulation in Wall Street and greed on their part, and it set up this perfect storm for the economic crisis that we're in. So when unions are strong, when workers earn a decent wage, it's good for the economy. Unions can also be good for employers. A unionized workforce tends to have less turnover. That means companies and employers have less recruitment and training costs. It's also, workers in union factories are often more productive. So there are advantages for employers as well. And then when you look at community-wide benefits, there's research that compares the top 10 states that have the highest unionization rates and compare them to the states with the 10 states with the least unionization rate, like North Carolina. And they show that where unions are stronger, you have higher average wages for all workers, you have higher per pupil spending, higher voter participation rates, you have fewer folks in poverty, fewer people without health insurance, and you have fewer workplace fatalities. So unions help benefit our larger communities. And in fact, the labor movement is to thank for many of the laws that we have that protect all of us as workers. The bumper sticker on my car says the labor movement, the folks that brought you the weekend. You have the labor movement to thank for the 40-hour work week, for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, for child labor laws. And we continue today, the labor movement, to fight for laws that protect not just union members, but all workers. So we all have benefited from a labor movement in this country.